3 days passed since the alien ship crashed in the Nevada desert. The creature Olivia called Lyra was now in a special room at a secret government facility. The walls were clear so doctors could watch her, but they had added a curtain to give her some privacy. They had put a bed in the room, along with some books, drawing materials, and a screen that showed pictures of Earth. Dr. Naomi Wright, the lead scientist studying Lyra, was amazed by what they were learning. "Her blood is silver," Naomi told Olivia, as they watched Lyra through the glass. "And her organs are in different places than ours. But her DNA has some things in common with Earth life. It's like finding a cousin we never knew we had." Lyra sat on the edge of her bed, drawing on a pad of paper. She seemed to enjoy making art. Her drawings were beautiful and strange, showing places and creatures that had never existed on Earth. "Has she eaten anything?" Olivia asked. "She drinks water," Naomi said, "and she tried some fruit yesterday. She seems to like sweet things." Olivia had noticed something else about Lyra. Whenever men entered the room, Lyra would move away. She would press herself against the wall and her star-like patterns would dim. But with women, she was more relaxed. "I think we should remove all male staff from her care team," Olivia suggested. Naomi nodded. "I noticed that too. It could be cultural, or maybe her species has had bad experiences with males." Within hours of making the change, they saw a difference. Lyra became more open. She began to watch the humans more closely, and even tried to copy some of their gestures. Olivia spent as much time as she could with Lyra. She would sit in the room with her, sometimes talking even though Lyra couldn't understand, sometimes just being quiet together. Olivia brought her own drawing pad and would draw simple things: the sun, trees, people. Lyra would study these drawings with great interest. One day, Lyra took Olivia's pen and drew a picture of a creature that looked a bit like herself, but with some differences. Then she drew another creature that was very different. It had a hard shell and many eyes. She jabbed her pen at this second drawing, making angry marks across it. "I think she's trying to tell us something," Olivia said to Naomi, who was watching from behind the glass. Lyra drew more pictures. She showed the shelled creatures attacking the ones that looked like her. She drew ships like the one that had crashed. She drew what looked like stars and planets. "She's showing us a war," Olivia realized. Her people are fighting against these other aliens. Over the next few days, they worked on developing a way to talk with Lyra. They tried sign language, pictures, and writing. Slowly, they began to create a system that both human and alien could understand. Lyra was a quick learner. She picked up simple words and signs and would point to things she wanted to know about. In return, she taught them some of her own language, beautiful sounds that were hard for human voices to make. After a week of work, Olivia was able to understand enough to get the basic story. She called a meeting with her superiors to explain what they had learned. "Her name isn't really Lyra, but it's close enough," Olivia began. "She is from a species called the Valhari. They are at war with another alien race called the Drakari." The room was full of important people: military leaders, scientists, government officials. They all listened closely as Olivia continued. "The Drakari have been hunting the Valhari for hundreds of years. They have killed most of them. Lyra says her people are peaceful. They don't understand why the Drakari hate them." "And why is she here?" asked General Morris, a stern man with gray hair. "She ran away," Olivia explained. "She stole the ship we found her in. She was trying to escape the Drakari. So she brought her war to our doorstep," the general said, his voice hard. "She didn't mean to come to Earth," Olivia said quickly. "Her ship was damaged. She crashed here by accident," Dr. Naomi added. "She's been very cooperative, and what we're learning from her could advance our science by decades, maybe even centuries." The meeting went on for hours. Some people wanted to send Lyra away. Others wanted to keep her locked up. A few even suggested they should study her ship to make weapons in case the Drakari came looking for her. Through it all, Olivia fought for Lyra. She reminded them that the alien had shown no signs of being dangerous. If anything, she seemed afraid of humans. "I think she expected us to kill her when we found her," Olivia said. "She was surprised when we helped her instead." In the end, they decided to continue studying Lyra and her ship. But with caution, they would increase security around the facility and watch the skies for any sign of other alien vessels. After the meeting, Olivia went back to Lyra's room. The alien was sitting by the window, looking at the night sky. She turned when Olivia entered, and her star patterns brightened. Olivia sat down beside her. Using their mix of signs and simple words, she tried to explain what had happened in the meeting. "You stay here," she said. "Safe. We learn together." Lyra seemed to understand. She made a sound that Olivia had come to recognize as something like, "Thanks." Then she took Olivia's hand and placed it against her own chest. Under her palm, Olivia could feel a heart beating. Not like a human heart with its steady thump-thump, but a gentler flowing rhythm. Lyra pointed to the stars, then to herself, then to Earth. She drew a circle around them all. "Yes," Olivia said, understanding the message. "We are all connected." That night, as Olivia drove home to get some much-needed rest, she thought about how strange life was. A week ago, she had been an ordinary military commander. Now she was friends with a being from another world. She wondered what would happen next. Would more Valhari come? Would the Drakari follow Lyra to Earth? Whatever came, Olivia knew that nothing would ever be the same again. As she looked up at the stars, they seemed different now. Not distant points of light, but places where others lived and loved and fought. And somewhere out there a war was raging that might soon touch Earth. The burning ship tore through the sky above the Nevada desert. Commander Olivia Hale watched it fall, a streak of fire against the darkening evening. Her hand moved to the radio at her shoulder. "All units, we have an object coming down. Move to secure the crash site," she said, her voice calm despite her racing heart. This was not a drill, this was not a test. This was real. Olivia had spent 8 years leading the first contact operation team. They had trained for this moment, but no one truly believed it would happen. Not really. Aliens were the stuff of movies and books. At least that's what most people thought. The government knew better. They had been watching the skies for decades, picking up strange signals, seeing odd lights. Now, something had finally arrived. The ship hit the ground with a sound like thunder, sending dust and rock flying into the air. It slid across the desert floor before coming to rest against a tall mesa. The dust slowly settled, revealing a shape, unlike anything made by human hands. "Keep your distance," Olivia ordered as her team approached in their vehicles. "Set up a perimeter. No one gets within 100 yards until we know it's safe." The crashed ship looked like a giant shell, smooth and shiny like the inside of an oyster. It glowed with soft colors that shifted and changed. Blues, purples, and greens played across its surface. There was no sign of damage despite the crash. "No broken pieces or leaking fluids, ma'am. Are we looking at what I think we're looking at?" asked Lieutenant Kate Simmons, Olivia's second in command. "Yes, Lieutenant, I believe we are looking at a ship not made on Earth," Olivia replied. She lifted her binoculars to get a better look. The ship was about the size of a small house with no visible windows or doors. As Olivia watched, a section of the ship's side began to move. A panel slid open, revealing darkness inside. She held her breath, waiting. A figure appeared in the opening. It moved slowly, stepping out into the desert air. Even from a distance, Olivia could tell it was not human. It walked on 2 legs and had 2 arms, but that's where the similarities ended. The creature's skin was a pale purple color, with patterns that glowed like stars on a clear night. It was thin and tall, with a graceful way of moving. It had no hair, and its face was strange yet beautiful in its own way. But most striking were its eyes, large, completely black, and filled with what looked like fear. "Hold positions," Olivia commanded, even as her team grew restless. Some reached for their weapons. "No one fires unless I give the order." The alien took a few steps away from the ship, then suddenly clutched at its side. Something silver dripped between its fingers. Blood, Olivia realized. The creature was hurt. It stumbled, then fell to its knees on the desert sand. In that moment, Olivia made a choice that would change everything. She removed her helmet. "Commander, what are you doing?" Kate's voice was sharp with alarm. "Showing that we're not a threat," Olivia replied. She set down her weapon. "Keep everyone back. I'm going to approach alone." "That's against all protocols." "Sometimes protocols need to be broken, Kate." Olivia stepped forward, walking slowly toward the fallen alien. Her heart pounded in her chest, but she kept her face calm. She held her empty hands out, palms up, a universal sign of peace, she hoped. The alien watched her approach. Its black eyes never blinked. It tried to move back, pushing itself away with one arm while the other still pressed against its wound. "It's okay," Olivia said softly, though she knew the creature couldn't understand her words. "I'm not going to hurt you." When she was about 10 feet away, Olivia stopped and knelt down to appear less threatening. The alien's chest rose and fell rapidly. It was breathing hard, either from pain or fear or both. Olivia slowly reached into her pocket and pulled out a small first aid kit. She opened it and took out a bandage. She showed it to the alien, then pointed to the creature's wound. "I want to help," she said, miming wrapping the bandage around her own arm. The alien stared at her for a long moment. Its face was hard to read, but something in its posture changed. The tension eased slightly. It lowered its hand from its wound, revealing a deep cut that oozed silver liquid. Olivia moved closer, step by careful step. When the alien didn't back away, she gently placed the bandage over the wound. The creature flinched at her touch, but didn't pull away. As Olivia worked, she noticed something strange. The alien's skin was warm, and where her fingers brushed against it, the glowing patterns grew brighter as if responding to her touch. "Commander," Kate's voice came through her radio. "Medical team is standing by." "Tell them to prepare for a non-human patient," Olivia replied. She looked into the alien's black eyes. "You're safe now. We're going to help you." The alien reached out with a slender hand and touched Olivia's face. Its fingers were cool and smooth. A feeling washed over Olivia, a sense of gratitude so strong it brought tears to her eyes. Somehow she knew the alien had expected to be killed. Instead, it had found help. "My name is Olivia," she said, pointing to herself. The alien made a soft sound, like wind through leaves. It touched its own chest, then made the sound again. Olivia couldn't pronounce it, but in her mind, she began to think of the alien as Lyra, because of the star-like patterns on its skin. "Come with me, Lyra," she said, standing slowly and offering her hand. "Let's get you somewhere safe." After a moment's hesitation, the alien placed its hand in Olivia's. Together, they walked back toward the waiting team. Behind them, the strange ship continued to pulse with gentle light against the darkening sky, a beacon of a new era that was just beginning for humanity. Olivia woke to the sound of alarms. The clock by her bed showed 3 a.m. Before she could reach for her phone, someone was pounding on her door. She opened it to find Lieutenant Kate Simmons standing there, still pulling on her jacket. "Commander, we have a situation," Kate said, her face serious. "Multiple objects have entered Earth's atmosphere. They look like Lyra's ship, but bigger." Olivia dressed quickly. Within 10 minutes, they were in a car speeding toward the facility. Kate filled her in as they drove. 7 ships entered our orbit about 30 minutes ago, Kate explained. "They're sending smaller ships down, heading straight for the crash site." Olivia's stomach tightened. "The Drakari found her." "That's what we think, too." "The Joint Chiefs are meeting right now to decide what to do." When they arrived at the facility, everything was in chaos. Soldiers ran back and forth. Scientists gathered their equipment and security teams checked their weapons. Olivia went straight to the control room. On the big screens, she could see satellite images of the alien ships. They were nothing like Lyra's smooth shell-like vessel. These were sharp and angular, with points sticking out like the legs of spiders. "How long until they reach us?" Olivia asked. 20 minutes, maybe less," said the officer at the radar station. General Morris approached Olivia. His face was grim. "Commander Hale, we need to talk." He led her to a quiet corner of the room. "The President and Joint Chiefs have made a decision. If these are the Drakari, And if they ask for the Valhari female, we're going to hand her over. Olivia felt like she'd been punched. Sir, with all due respect, we can't do that. We can and we will, the general said firmly. One alien refugee is not worth risking a war with an advanced species. We don't know what kind of weapons they have. But sir, this isn't a debate, Commander. Those are your orders. Olivia watched him walk away, her mind racing. She thought about Lyra, about the fear in her eyes whenever she drew pictures of the Drakari. She thought about the trust the alien had shown her. She made her decision. Olivia found Kate and pulled her aside. How quickly can we get Lyra out of here? Kate's eyes widened. Are you suggesting we disobey direct orders? I'm suggesting we do what's right, Olivia said. Now can you get a transport ready or not? After a moment, Kate nodded. Yes, ma'am. Give me 5 minutes. While Kate arranged the transport, Olivia went to find Dr. Naomi Wright. The scientist was in her lab, frantically packing equipment. Naomi, I need everything you've learned about Valhari technology, Olivia said, especially anything about their communication systems. Naomi looked confused. Why? What's happening? The Drakari are here, and our leaders want to give Lyra to them. I'm not going to let that happen. Naomi's face hardened. I'll get my notes and samples. She reached into a cooling unit and pulled out a small crystal that glowed with inner light. This came from Lyra's ship. She showed me how to activate it. It seems to be some kind of communication device. Olivia took the crystal. It felt warm, in her hand, and the light inside it pulsed like a heartbeat. Thank you, she said. Now, is there anything else you've learned that could help us? Just one thing, Naomi said. Lyra has been teaching me about Valhari biology. Their body chemistry changes when they're afraid. The patterns on their skin dim. But when they feel safe, the patterns grow brighter. How does that help us? When Lyra is with you, her patterns are at their brightest. She trusts you, Olivia, more than anyone else here. Olivia nodded, feeling the weight of that trust. I won't let her down. Next, Olivia went to Lyra's room. The alien was pressed against the far wall, her star patterns barely visible. She knew something was wrong. Using their simple communication system, Olivia explained that they needed to leave. Quickly, Lyra understood right away. She gathered the few things she had, some drawings, a blanket she seemed to like, and a small plant Naomi had given her. As they hurried through the hallways, Lyra suddenly stopped and grabbed Olivia's arm. She pointed upward and made a sound like breaking glass. Yes, Olivia said. The Drakari are here, but we're going to hide you. Lyra's black eyes seemed to grow even darker. She reached out and touched Olivia's face, just as she had done that first day in the desert. Again, Olivia felt a wave of emotion. Not gratitude this time, but fear, mixed with determination. They met Kate at the loading dock. She had a large transport truck ready, its engine running. Where are we going? Kate asked as they climbed in. North Dakota, Olivia said. There's an old missile silo there that was closed after the Cold War. It's deep underground and shielded against radiation. If anything can hide Lyra from Drakari sensors, that's it. As they drove away from the facility, Olivia looked in the rearview mirror. In the distance, she could see strange lights descending from the sky. The Drakari scout ships. They look like wasps, Kate said, watching the lights. They hunt like them too, Olivia replied, remembering Lyra's drawings of Drakari attack patterns. And they never stop until they've destroyed the nest. They drove through the night, stopping only for fuel. Lyra sat quietly in the back of the truck, sometimes sleeping, sometimes staring out the window at the passing landscape. Occasionally she would draw pictures, always of the same things, her home world, the Drakari, and now, Earth. Olivia called Dr. Naomi every few hours for updates. The news wasn't good. The Drakari had landed at the facility and demanded Lyra be turned over to them. When told she wasn't there, they had become angry. They hadn't attacked yet, but they had surrounded the facility with their ships. The general is furious with you, Naomi said. He's calling it treason. Tell him I'll gladly face a court-martial after we figure this out. Olivia replied. For now, I need you to keep studying that ship. There has to be something in it that can help us. By dawn, they had crossed into South Dakota. Lyra was examining the crystal Naomi had given them, turning it over in her hands. Suddenly, it began to glow brighter. Lyra made an excited sound and held it up. What is it? Olivia asked. What does it do? Lyra pointed to the crystal, then to her head, then made a sweeping gesture to the sky. It's a communication device, Kate guessed. Maybe she can contact other Valhari? Lyra nodded eagerly. But it's broken, right? Olivia asked, remembering how damaged the ship had been. Lyra made a so-so gesture with her hand. She pointed to the crystal, then to various mechanical parts of the truck as if asking for tools or materials. She thinks she can fix it, Olivia realized. And if she can call for help, then maybe we're not alone in this fight, Kate finished. As the sun rose higher in the sky, casting long shadows across the empty plains, Olivia felt a small spark of hope. They were running, yes. But maybe, just maybe, they were also running towards something, not just away. The old missile silo was cold and dark when they arrived. It had been abandoned for decades, but the main power system still worked when Kate found the backup generators. Lights flickered on, revealing a vast underground complex of concrete and steel. We should be safe here for a while, Olivia said, looking around at the dusty control rooms and empty barracks. These walls are built to withstand nuclear blasts. They should block any signals the Drakari might use to track Lyra. They set up a makeshift lab in what had once been the command center. Lyra immediately began working with the crystal, using tools and parts that Kate had gathered along the way. Her slender purple fingers moved with amazing speed and skill. Olivia's phone rang. It was Naomi. The military has engaged the Drakari scouts, Naomi said, her voice tense. They're firing warning shots, trying to push them back without destroying them. Are the Drakari fighting back? Olivia asked. Not yet, but they've sent a message. They're demanding to speak with whoever is in charge of Earth's defenses. What did the general tell them? That he needs time to consult with world leaders, Naomi said. But he can't stall forever. Olivia, I've been studying the data from Lyra's ship. I think I figured something out about the crystal. Olivia glanced over at Lyra, who was deeply focused on her work. What is it? It's a quantum entanglement device, Naomi explained. From what I can tell, it allows instant communication across any distance. The Valhari use them to stay in touch with each other no matter how far apart they are. That's why Lyra wants to fix it, Olivia realized. She's trying to contact other Valhari. Yes, but there's more, Naomi said. I've been analyzing the patterns in Lyra's drawings. I think she's not just any refugee. Based on the symbols she uses and the way she understands our technology, I believe she's some kind of scientist, possibly a geneticist. Olivia watched as Lyra connected wires to the crystal, which now glowed brighter than before. Why would that matter to the Drakari? Why hunt her specifically? I'm not sure, Naomi admitted. But whatever the reason, it must be important enough for them to follow her all the way to Earth. After Olivia hung up, she sat down next to Lyra. The alien looked up from her work, her black eyes reflecting the glow of the crystal. Using their simple communication system, Olivia asked, Why do the Drakari want you? Lyra set down her tools. She picked up a pad of paper and began to draw. First she drew herself. Then she drew what looked like DNA strands. Next came a drawing of many Valhari hiding, with Drakari searching for them. You found a way to hide. From the Drakari, Olivia guessed. Lyra nodded. She continued drawing. Now she showed herself inside a circle, with lines pointing to it from outside. You're special somehow? Olivia asked. Lyra touched her stomach, then drew a small figure next to herself. Olivia's eyes widened. You're pregnant? Lyra made a soft sound of agreement. She drew more Valhari, but only a few. Then she drew many, many Drakari. There aren't many of your kind left, Olivia said, understanding. Each child is precious. Lyra's star patterns pulsed brightly in response. Kate, who had been watching this exchange, whispered to Olivia, No wonder the Drakari want her so badly. She's carrying the future of her species and she knows how to hide them from their hunters. Olivia nodded. We need to protect her at all costs. Over the next few days, they settled into a routine. Lyra worked on the crystal while Olivia and Kate took turns standing guard and gathering supplies from nearby towns. Naomi sent regular updates about the situation at the facility. The Drakari had not attacked, but they hadn't left either. They kept their ships in position around the crash site and the government facility. They had repeated their demand to speak with Earth's leaders. Finally, on the fourth day, Lyra made a breakthrough. The crystal suddenly lit up like a small sun, filling the room with brilliant blue-white light. Lyra made a sound of triumph. Did you fix it? Olivia asked. Lyra nodded excitedly. She held the crystal in both hands and closed her eyes. The light pulsed in a pattern that seemed to match her breathing. Nothing happened for several minutes. Then, suddenly, the crystal changed color, shifting to a deep purple. Lyra opened her eyes and made a sound that Olivia had never heard before. Something like a song. Is someone answering? Kate asked. Lyra nodded again. She set the crystal down carefully and began drawing rapidly. She showed other Valhari ships, far away but moving toward Earth. More of your people are coming? Olivia asked. Lyra confirmed this, but her expression was troubled. She drew the Drakari ships again, larger and more numerous. The Drakari will bring more ships too, Olivia translated. We don't have much time. Just then, Olivia's phone rang again. It was Naomi, and she sounded scared. The Drakari commander has made contact, she said. He's demanding to meet with whoever helped Lyra escape. He says if no one comes forward in 24 hours, they will begin destroying Earth's military bases. Olivia took a deep breath. Tell the general I'll do it. I'll meet with the Drakari commander. Olivia, no, Naomi protested. It's too dangerous. We don't have a choice, Olivia said firmly. If I don't go, they'll start a war. We need to buy time until Lyra's people can get here. After explaining the situation to Kate and Lyra, Olivia began preparing for the meeting. The general, despite his anger at her for disobeying orders, agreed to arrange it. The meeting would take place the next day on a platform in the middle of Lake Superior, neutral ground where neither side would have an advantage. That night, Olivia couldn't sleep. She sat in the old command center, looking over maps and thinking about what she would say to the Drakari commander. Lyra found her, there. The alien sat down beside her and placed a hand on Olivia's arm. Her touch was gentle, her star patterns glowing softly in the dim light. Using drawings and gestures, Lyra tried to explain something important. She showed the Drakari offering Olivia a choice: hand over Lyra or face destruction. Yes, that's what I'm afraid of, Olivia said. But Lyra wasn't finished. She drew another picture. Olivia standing between the Drakari and the Valhari. Then she drew a third group, humans, standing with the Valhari. You think we should ally with your people against the Drakari? Olivia asked. Lyra nodded. She drew more pictures, showing Valhari teaching humans, sharing knowledge and technology. An exchange, Olivia understood. Protection for knowledge. Lyra touched the crystal, which still glowed with purple light. She made a sweeping gesture toward the sky, then pointed to her drawings of Valhari ships. Your people are coming, Olivia said. But will they get here in time? Lyra couldn't answer that. Instead, she took Olivia's hand and placed it over her own heart. The gentle, flowing rhythm was stronger now. Then she moved Olivia's hand to her stomach. There was a second rhythm there, fainter but unmistakable. The message was clear. 2 lives, mother and child, both trusting Olivia completely. I won't let you down, Olivia promised. Either of you. The next morning, as dawn broke over the cold waters of Lake Superior, Olivia prepared to meet the Drakari commander. She wore her full military uniform, with all her medals and insignia, before she left. Lyra gave her something. A small piece of the crystal shaped into a kind of amulet. Lyra placed it around Olivia's neck and touched it gently. It glowed with a soft light. What does it do? Olivia asked. Lyra pointed to her head, then to Olivia's, then made a connecting gesture between them. It will help us communicate? Olivia guessed. Lyra nodded. She made one more drawing before Olivia left. A simple picture of Olivia returning safely to the silo, with Lyra waiting for her. I'll be back, Olivia promised. You stay hidden until I return. As she left the silo with Kate, who would drive her to the meeting point, Olivia touched the crystal amulet around her neck. It felt warm against her skin, almost alive. Whatever happened next would determine the fate not just of Lyra and her unborn child, but possibly of 3 entire species: Valhari, human, and Drakari. The platform on Lake Superior was a simple metal structure used for weather monitoring. Today it would be the meeting place between humanity and the Drakari. A helicopter dropped Olivia off as the morning sun sparkled on the cold water. Stood alone watching the sky. She didn't have to wait long. A dark shape appeared in the clouds, moving swiftly and silently toward the platform. It was smaller than the ships they had seen before, probably a shuttlecraft. It hovered over the water for a moment, then settled onto the platform with a soft hiss. A panel slid open in its side. The Drakari commander stepped out. Olivia had seen drawings of the Drakari in Lyra's artwork, but nothing had prepared her for the reality. The alien was tall, nearly 7 feet, with a body covered in what looked like black armor but was actually part of its skin. Instead of a face, it had a cluster of small eyes that reflected Olivia's image back at her like tiny mirrors. It moved, with strange, precise steps as if every motion was carefully calculated. I am Commander Olivia Hale of Earth, she said, keeping her voice steady. I understand you wish to speak with me. The Drakari made a series of clicking sounds. Then, to Olivia's surprise, it spoke in perfect English. We have analyzed your communication systems and learned your languages, it said. Its voice sounded artificial, like a computer. I am Vexthorn, commander of the Drakari Pursuit Fleet. Why have you come to Earth? Olivia asked, though she already knew the answer. You harbor an enemy of the Drakari Collective, Vexthorn stated. The Valhari female who crashed on your world is a fugitive from justice. Surrender her to us and we will depart peacefully. What crime has she committed? Olivia asked. The crime of existence, the Drakari replied coldly. The Valhari are an aberration in the cosmic order. They must be eliminated. The hatred in the alien's voice was unmistakable. Olivia thought of Lyra, gentle and creative, hiding in the missile silo. How could anyone want to destroy such a being? That's not a crime, Olivia said. On Earth, we believe all life has value. A primitive notion, Vexthorn said dismissively. The Valhari are few, the Drakari are many. The strong survive, the weak perish. This is the law of the universe. Not our universe, Olivia countered. Not on Earth. The Drakari commander's many eyes seemed to study her with new interest. You speak with unusual confidence for a species so young and vulnerable. Your weapons are primitive. Your defense is inadequate. We could destroy your major cities within hours. And yet you haven't, Olivia noted. Why is that, Commander? Why talk at all? The Drakari was silent for a moment. Then it reached into a compartment in its armor and removed a small object. It looked like a weapon, sleek and deadly. I will offer you a choice, Commander Olivia Hale of Earth, Vexthorn said, extending the weapon toward her. Execute the Valhari, female yourself in our presence, and the Drakari Collective will consider humanity potential allies rather than obstacles. Olivia stared at the weapon but made no move to take it. The crystal amulet Lyra had given her felt suddenly warm against her skin. And if I refuse? She asked. Then we will find her ourselves, and your world will suffer for harboring her. In the missile silo miles away, Lyra watched this exchange through a screen connected to the crystal. She could see and hear everything through the amulet she had given Olivia. Her star patterns dimmed with sadness but not surprise. The human would make the logical choice. One alien life weighed against billions of human lives. It was what any rational being would choose. But back on the platform, Olivia was thinking about everything she had learned about the Valhari. How they created rather than destroyed. How Lyra mourned her fallen friends by making beautiful art to remember them. How she cradled the small plant Naomi had given her, as if it were precious, beyond measure. "I have a counteroffer," Olivia said, setting the weapon down on the platform between them. "Earth will provide sanctuary to any Valhari who reach our world. In exchange, they will share their medical and technological knowledge with us, knowledge that helped them evade you for centuries." The Drakari commander's compound eyes shifted, plates of armor clicking in what might have been agitation or surprise. "You would ally with a dying race?" Vexthorn asked. "The Valhari number less than 10,000 across the galaxy. We are millions." Olivia smiled. "Quality over quantity, Commander. And there's something you should know about humans. We have a history of rooting for the underdog." "Explain this term," the Drakari demanded. "The underdog," Olivia repeated. "It means the competitor thought least likely to win. Throughout our history, we've often found ourselves outnumbered, outgunned, facing enemies who thought victory was certain. And yet here we stand." She took a step closer to the Drakari. "Your ships are impressive, your technology advanced, but you've never faced humans before. We're stubborn, resourceful, and we don't like bullies." The crystal at Olivia's neck pulsed, with light. Through it she felt something, a presence, a connection. Lyra was with her, sharing her courage. "The Valhari female carries important scientific knowledge," Vexthorn said. "Knowledge that threatens the Drakari collective. We cannot allow it to spread." "You mean she found a way to hide from you?" Olivia said. "A way for her people to survive, despite your hunting them. That's why you're so determined to find her." The Drakari's silence was confirmation enough. "Here's what's going to happen," Olivia continued, her voice stronger now. "You're going to leave Earth's solar system. You're going to stop hunting the Valhari, and in return, we won't share their genetic technology with every spacefaring race we encounter in the future. You make threats you cannot enforce," Vexthorn said, but Olivia heard uncertainty in its artificial voice. "Can't I?" Olivia smiled again. "The Valhari are already on their way here. Their ships are faster than yours. That's why you haven't caught them all yet, isn't it? By the time you gather enough forces to attack Earth, we'll have learned much from our new allies." The Drakari commander was silent for a long moment, its many eyes fixed on Olivia. Finally it spoke. "The Drakari collective does not make alliances with lesser species, but we also do not waste resources on futile campaigns. We will withdraw our ships from your system, for now. But know this, Commander Olivia Hale of Earth. The hunt for the Valhari will continue, and if we find that you have spread their technology to other worlds, we will return." "I understand," Olivia said. "Safe travels, Commander Vexthorn." The Drakari picked up the weapon Olivia had refused, then turned and walked back to its shuttle without another word. The ship lifted off silently, rising into the clouds until it vanished from sight. Olivia let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. The crystal at her neck pulsed once more, then settled into a steady glow. "We did it," she whispered, knowing Lyra could hear her. "They're leaving." 3 months later, Olivia stood on a hillside overlooking a valley in Montana. Below, construction. Teams were busy building what would become the first Valhari settlement on Earth. The first ship had arrived 2 weeks after Olivia's meeting with the Drakari commander. More had followed, small vessels carrying survivors, families, scientists, artists. Lyra stood beside her, her star patterns glowing brightly in the sunshine. Her pregnancy was more visible now, her slender form gently rounded. "It's beautiful," Olivia said, looking at the emerging settlement. The Valhari buildings were unlike anything humans had created, curved structures that seemed to grow from the earth itself, incorporating living plants and flowing water. Lyra nodded, using the communication device she had helped to design, a more advanced version of the crystal amulet. She spoke directly into Olivia's mind. "It is a new beginning," Lyra's thoughts came to her. "For both our peoples. The technology exchange had already begun. Valhari medical knowledge had led to breakthroughs in treating several human diseases. Their understanding of clean energy was revolutionizing power systems around the world. In return, humans provided the one thing the Valhari needed most, a safe home. Do you think the Drakari will keep their word? Olivia asked. Will they stay away? For now, Lyra replied. They do not like to appear weak. They will wait, gather their strength perhaps for years, but they will return eventually. And will be ready when they do, Olivia said confidently. A soft sound made them both turn. Dr. Naomi Wright was walking up the hill toward them, carrying a tablet filled with data. The genetic therapy is working, she announced excitedly. We've successfully modified the DNA markers that the Drakari use to track Valhari life signs. Any child born with these modifications will be invisible to their sensors. Lyra's star patterns rippled with joy. She placed a hand on her rounded belly. My child will be the first, she said through the crystal, the first of a new generation who will not live in fear. Olivia smiled, feeling a sense of pride and accomplishment, unlike anything in her military career. When she had found Lyra in the desert months ago, she had made a choice, to help rather than harm, to protect rather than threaten. It had been the right choice, perhaps the most important one of her life. 6 months later, Olivia stood in a special room in the Valhari settlement. Lyra lay on a bed of soft moss surrounded by other Valhari who sang in gentle, harmonious tones. The birth was happening.